Hello, my friends. Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, we are continuing the coverage of the Delphi murders. Richard Allen arrested in this case as the murderer, but we don't know what kind of murder he is being charged with at this time. And what we're going to find out is what happened at his first hearing. If you've been following the episodes, you know that we did do a video on, was there an accomplice with him? Well, in the first hearing today, there actually was something said along those lines. Let's go ahead and dive into it, why don't we? The accused killer, Richard Allen, charged for the murders of best friends Abigail Williams and Libby German, was in court today, November 22nd, 2022. He appeared in a bright yellow prison jumpsuit, in shackles on his arms and his feet, on his hands and his feet, with a bulletproof vest, and the chain was wrapped around his chest, which is not the normal way that they do it. They normally do it lower around the waist side. That was a very interesting take. Prosecutor Nick McLeland, he argued in the Delphi murder case that he doesn't believe Mr. Allen was the only one actor in this 2017 murders, basically saying there could be an accomplice. And that's where it gets a little crazy in this story on how they're like, okay, we've been talking about it not being him, but wait a second, you mean that he might have an accomplice? And so now we're finding out a little more in his argument when he says we believe Richard Allen is not the only actor involved in this, basically saying there could be an accomplice to this double murder. Now, Richard Allen's attorney said this was the first time hearing of any other people being involved, and that the documents do not say anything about multiple suspects. He says, if you read the probable cause affidavit, it does not mention anything about any other person. That was news to us. Basically saying that he is hearing about this for the first time. And the prosecutor, McLeland, he also shared that, the prosecutor McLeland, he also shared that this was, there were still tips coming in since Allen has been arrested, and they're fighting to keep his arrest affidavit from going public. The prosecutor wants to protect the witnesses from being taken advantage of or hounded by the media, and even said about the media, they could be, looking for the next soundbite. He even talked about how the first judge recused himself due to the way the media has jumped on this news. The prosecutor also submitted a redacted version of the probable cause to be reviewed by Special Judge Fran Gohl, with the names of witnesses and people involved removed so that no one can see it if it is made public. And Allen's attorney, Bradley Rozzi, he said that keeping the documents sealed, you're going to have people reading between the lines. He said it would create more curiosity and public demands and make it harder to offer a good defense on his part. Now, Judge Fran Gohl, the new judge in this Indiana case, put off his bail hearing until February 17th, 2023, and will consider the decision to unseal the arrest affidavit. Gohl listened to both arguments for and against in this Tuesday morning hearing, and said she will issue her order in due haste, noting she is aware of the people's interest in this particular case. Now, Allen's attorney, he filed a motion just yesterday for the court to set bond for Allen so he can be released pending trial, preferably without any bond, and be released on his his released on cognizant, whatever it's called. Man, that's slipping my mind. And so, that they know that he's not going to flee, that he'll be released on his own known cognizance. I forget the heck that term is. But, she personally, I think he should want to stay behind bars, because if you're not getting beat up right now in jail, that's probably the safest place, even if he is an innocent person. Unfortunately, his name is tied to as the killer. So you know how the public can be, right or wrong. They are holding you already guilty, unfortunately. I don't agree with that, but until they know for sure what has happened, the public is going to want answers. Why do you think he is wearing a bulletproof vest? Because he is in danger. And so unless he is getting really hurt a lot in jail right now, I would think if I was him, I don't know that I would want to be out if people thought I killed her, right? Because this is sad as can be. And whoever the witnesses could be, the witness could be his wife, right? Do you really want that to get out? Because they will be at her. Like, why didn't you come forth sooner? The prosecutors, they also filed for a gag order in this case today as well. And so Carrie Timmons, the mother of Libby, she has also slammed the Indiana State Police for not making an arrest sooner, with the CVS pharmacist technician never being named by them in their initial investigations. Now, they probably couldn't, right? Maybe it was going to ruin the case. But speaking to the U.S. Sun, she said, if they have in fact caught this guy after 6 years with him living under their noses, then what were they doing all this time? She asked this question to the U.S. Sun, like, what have they been doing? She also tells the U.S. Sun that she's hoping all documents regarding the arrest of Allen remain shielded from public view indefinitely to prevent the case against him from being compromised in any way. Having already waited an agonizing 5.5 years for answers about what happened to her daughter Carrie, she told the U.S. Sun what happened to her daughter Carrie, the mom. She told the U.S. Sun what's waiting a little longer going to do. I don't want anything to happen that would jeopardize the case in any way. So if the affidavit being sealed manages to seal the deal and get a conviction, then leave it sealed. Preaching the importance of patience, Carrie urged prosecutors not to bow to the overwhelming public interest and at times almost perverse curiosity in the case by prematurely releasing any potential crucial evidence. More reasons why they probably waited this long, right? What is releasing that information going to do? She said. It's certainly not going to help the prosecution in any way. So why does the media or the public need to know all the details now? It's all going to come out at trial anyway. That's what she shared. We've waited this long, so what's a little longer, right? And so what good will it do except for putting me on edge for the next 6 months? That's what she said. To satisfy someone else's curiosity? No, thank you. That's what she was sharing. While the pharmacist maintains his innocence, Carrie says she's relieved to finally see someone behind bars for Libby's murder. And this hearing today, it even required dozens of police officers to provide security inside and outside the Carroll County Courthouse. And during the hearing, the prosecutor said in court that there is reason to believe that Allen is not the only one involved in the killings. Of course, no other names were mentioned. But we do know that Ron Logan, who died in 2020, had long been the prime suspect in the killings after the girls' bodies were found on his property, and Keegan Klein was also named as the possible murderer. Though prosecutors did not name any potential accomplices, both Logan and Klein have long been linked with the slayings. Both girls' bodies, which are thought to have been posed, were discovered on Logan's property just 1,400 feet from his house, and it was revealed over the summer that his alibi for the day of the murder did not line up. His home was searched and he was arrested shortly after the killings, but he was released and never charged with the killings. And the voice in a clip that was released by police of a man talking to the girls shortly before their deaths was described as being not inconsistent with that of Logan. The FBI investigation concluded that. Now, Keegan Klein, who is of Peru, Indiana, was also previously named as a suspect in the murders by Indiana State Police and was interviewed by cops. He is said to have admitted to talking to Libby German using a fake Instagram profile called Anthony_shots. Now, Klein, who is heavyset and kind of pasty-faced, he used an image of a ripped and muscular young man to trick underage girls into speaking to him. And he is said to have arranged to meet with Libby on the Delphi High Bridge the day before she was murdered while walking along it. But he is also said to have shared his Anthony_shots password with others, including his father, and said his father could be a prime suspect in the killings. Klein is being held in jail after being arrested on separate child PORN charges in 2022. And Allen, he was given court-appointed lawyers after sending a handwritten letter to the judge asking for representation last week. His lawyers have since filed a request for Allen to be released without posting bond or by setting a reasonable bail amount, which will be considered on February 17th at a bail hearing. Currently, the only details that have been released are that Allen's initial bail was set at $20 million following his arrest, though he is reportedly now being held without bond. And you can see here where the prosecutor McLeland, had requested that all of this stuff be sealed and requested a gag order. And you can see some of the reasons in support of the request. The state shows the following: that the state filed 2 counts of murder against the defendant on October 28, 2022. These images that you see of him today are the first time anyone has seen him in public since he was arrested on October 28th. And that the case has received extensive treatment in the local, national, and international news media. That the media accounts concerning this cause have contained an undue number of statements relating not only to the progress of the investigation, but conclusions of the investigation, some of which have been untrue. That it is reasonable to believe that the media will continue to cover this cause of action extensively, and that the publicity will prejudice a fair trial, that the additional statements and media coverage in the news is likely to produce prejudice in the community, making it impossible to have a fair and impartial jury to ensure that all parties have a fair trial. So this was some of what the state had filed for a motion requesting a gag order in the case. Now, Andrew Baldwin, the defense attorney for Allen, says that he is the wrong guy and the sealed probable cause affidavit is flimsy, adding, "You expect more than what I saw for them to arrest him." And here is where this is key that we're all on the same page. This is still in the early stages. Think of the Barrymore feud. He was arrested. They had an affidavit, the affidavit, I don't know, 28, 75 pages long, something like that. And in the end, they didn't really have enough on him to keep him there. The charges have been dropped. No trial, nothing. It's been dropped with another phrase I'm forgetting, but where they can still prosecute him in the future. So this could be a weak case against him so far. We don't know what these documents look like. We don't know what they have on him. But I'm guessing between the three of them, between Klein, Logan, and this now, the arrested one now that is being charged in these killings, Richard Allen, between the three of them, maybe one is the accomplice. Maybe he was the accomplice. We really don't know everything until we see the affidavit. So according to the defense, of course they're going to say that. They always say this, right? There's not enough there. What are they holding him on? They need to let him out. Well, whatever, give him a reasonable amount. 20 million, obviously, very few people can afford that. But he is saying, you expect more than what I saw. Again, we'll only find out more. But as part of Allen's petition to be let out on bail, his attorneys say because neither the proof of guilt is evident, nor the presumption of guilt strong, the accused is seeking a hearing to release the accused. So they want him released. Now, officers with Indiana State Police are insisting that the case is still active, which leaves the door open for others to be charged. Authorities, they never publicly linked him to the case before this arrest, with the culprit behind the murders remaining a mystery for 5+ years, as cops remain tight-lipped about how the girls were killed. But as you can see here, Judge Benjamin Diener, he previously gave permission for some of the details to be released about the case before recusing himself from the case. It is said that he recused himself out of fear because of all the national media attention this case is getting. So he wanted to get himself away from this. So good job to Judge Gohl, who is stepping up to do this. And so a docket of the crimes has indicated that Allen has been charged under a specific subsection of Indiana's statute, which involves at least one underlying offense, though it is unclear what they are. Now, Allen, he has been moved to state custody for his own safety, with a court order ruling that he was in imminent danger of serious bodily injury or death, or represents a substantial threat to the safety of others. Goes back to my point. If he's released, do you really think that you're safe? So if they found a way for him to be safe right now, I would think this is the safest place for him. Because again, he's already being crucified for this. He's already being put to guilty status. Again, he is alleged to have done this. Let me make it very clear. He's not convicted of this. He is alleged. He is the person that they have as tied to this murder. We don't know what role yet. So we want to keep this as professional and courteous to everyone that's involved in this case. But the arrest of Allen could be the end of a years-long investigation during which numerous possible leads have led nowhere, and police have remained tight-lipped about the details of the case. Exactly how the girls died remains unknown to the public, and the state their bodies were discovered also remains shrouded in mystery. Over the summer, the details of a search warrant revealed that Libby and Abigail were found covered in blood, and that their killer appeared to have taken a souvenir of some sort from the murder site. And the warrant offered no further detail on what that souvenir was, but it did say that the rest of the girls' clothing was recovered, almost kind of leaving a little thought that maybe they taken something that the girls were wearing. The murderer also reportedly staged the girls' bodies in a particular way after killing them, although it remains unclear exactly how he did this. Now, investigators believed photographs or videos were likely shot of the grotesque setup to memorialize the crime scene. So maybe they have pictures. We don't really know just yet. Early this morning before the hearing, you could see a big long line outside of the courthouse of people wanting to get in there. Before they even opened the doors, there were about 50 people waiting. And so now we want justice for these girls. If this is the perp, we want justice done. The Indiana State Police Department's tip line can be reached by email at Abby and Libby tip at cacoshrf.com or by phone at 765-822-3535. My friends, I'm Manny Rodriguez, and the whole purpose is to keep you on top of what could go wrong in this crazy world we live in. Someone close to these girls, a family member or a friend of the family, I can't remember, I think it was actually the uncle maybe, someone close to the girls dropped them off at this bridge. And they were going to come back and pick them up after, go hang out, be little girls, and have fun. Who would have known that this would happen? And that is the purpose of this channel, to keep you updated on what could go wrong in this crazy world we live in. My friends, if that sounds like the type of content you like to follow, hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts on this video. And let me know, do you think that he's the perp? It's really hard to say until we know what they actually have on him. We do know that sometimes they arrest the wrong person. Let's not be fools, right? Let's not be silly and just because they arrested someone. There are some shady things around him. So we don't know the witnesses. We don't know the other suspects, if there are other suspects. We will wait to hear more. I'm Manny Rodriguez. Until next time, my friends, be safe out there. That's all I want. I want to be a voice for the victims, and I want you to be a little safer out there. Be careful, my friends. Until next time, peace.